We should take the road to serfdom and plop it in front of every Democrat, every liberal, every Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders supporter and say, read this, learn this, and then we can have a conversation about what's really happening in this country. But instead, what we have is the Atlantic telling us that the real problem is essentially the rise of ethnonationalism as the real basis of the Trump movement. Now, there's a lot of ways that you could look at the data from the 2016 election and say, hold on a second. So people that had voted Democrat and now switched and voted Trump, they all of a sudden became ethno-nationalists in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, in Florida, states that Trump won, states that Trump wasn't supposed to be, well, he wasn't supposed to be able to win much of anything, they thought, but states that we were told were almost certain to go for Hillary the Democrat, and that had gone for Barack Obama, the first African-American president. Now we're to believe that there was just this surge in ethno-nationalism. I think this is a very comfortable smear from the perspective of the left. I think what they like to say now is the real problem is that conservatives no longer make the case that this is a country rooted in ideology that has nothing to do with your skin color, that has nothing to do with your ethnic background or religious background, that the ideology of America, the vision of the founders, the Constitution is meant for all human beings, and the core of this, the foundation of this idea, is in fact rooted in individual rights and human dignity. They say that we're not making that case anymore, though. They claim that what's going on now is there's this shift to the politics of xenophobia, and this is what the Atlantic, I believe it's Yoni Applebaum is the author's name, that there is this shift away from traditional conservatism to this ethno-nationalism. To that I just say, look at the issues that Donald Trump has had the greatest resonance on. Look at the areas of policy that the president has managed to build this coalition behind him. One of them is just that the establishment isn't what it pretends to be, which I think is now almost inarguably the case. I mean, people will argue with it, but I think they look foolish. That the political, media, and financial elites aren't so brilliant and aren't so ethical as they have been claiming for a very long time. And now, because of the democratization of information, because any of us can go online and see, what did this guy say 6 months ago? What really happened to this bailout money? Who is this union donating to, and what does that politician say? How smart are these people when questioned, meaning politicians in the political class? How smart are they when they're questioned off script? Do they really seem to know what the heck they're talking about? This was a revolt against the elites, which I think is entirely left out of this piece in the Atlantic that's warning about the possibility of us heading to a civil war. This is in the Atlantic. I'm not, so no one, if Media Matters is watching right now, I'm not the one who's saying, hey, we might be heading to a civil war. The most elite journal of left-wing opinion, I would argue, in the country is saying we might be heading towards something really, really ugly here.